Create your own reality. I've said that so many times. I'm not the first person to say it, nor will I ever be the last person to say it. Today, though, I really want to talk about it on such a simple level, because I think it really helps to understand exactly what that means. Yes, I've gone back to audio podcasts today. I don't know why, I like to mix it up. So no video podcast today. It's all audio. Create your own reality. I do really say this a lot. And it's funny because when you put things on social media all the time, you feel like you are repeating words over and over and over again. But we do need to still know and understand that not every single person is reading or seeing or listening or watching every piece of your social media content. So even in my eyes, where it may feel like I'm repeating it over and over and over again, someone may only see it once. Someone may not even see what I'm talking about. I really want to talk about what creating a reality really means. And it has come about because I've been getting a lot of visions, downloads, thoughts, whatever magical words you want to insert here of what's happening in the existence around us. And I am definitely being called to share more of that. Normally I don't tap in with, what's happening in the world? Let me tell you, there's enough people who do that in their own ways. And I see things differently anyway. However, over the last week or so, I have been getting images, and it's this real destruction. That's a heavy word, but collapsing, also a heavy word, more of a dissipating of our current reality. And a vision that was brought to my attention was seeing the earth, like you think of it like a planet, just pixelating and disappearing into these energetic particles and sort of just evaporating into the space around it. So into what you would look at as the universe. And it was such a weird image because it also came with a, hang on a minute, what's happening? Oh my goodness, do we not exist anymore? Like, wait, what? And it was such a weird moment because it's obviously me talking to you right now. I am talking as Anna in this physical body. So when you're seeing it on that level of you've just dissipated back into the environment, around you and in this space that we don't really know enough about, it's like, oh, what am I doing now? And it didn't last long, and then it was all brought back together in this image of, when you break something and you're trying to put it back together, but you're missing a tiny piece. It's like that, but in a good way. So it was like the putting back together of all the good bits. So all the new thoughts, the affirmation, the new realities that I've been trying to create in my life suddenly all came together in this beautiful space and created this new reality. And was no longer holding on to all that old stuff, all those old beliefs or old experiences that we were still holding on to, and the things that we didn't really need to help us move towards more of the things that we did want to enjoy or the future that we wanted to have. So it was like, oh my goodness, it's like stripping away all the shit. It's like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is literally where we are all trying to aim for. This is exactly why we are doing all this work, is because we want to get to this place where we do only hold the truth and the beliefs and the experiences and the really good feeling emotions that we want in our lives. So it was like, yes, this is exactly what I want. And even over the last few nights, I just keep seeing more and more and more and more and more of that. It's more of our coding, more of our beliefs that we're holding on to, more of the things that we are deeming to be true for us are the things that are going to be in our reality. So it's even more important for us now to make sure we're not constantly bringing up old things that have no bearing in your life, or old experiences that have left this mark on you, that we're bringing forward into this future version of self that we're trying to create, so that we can sort of really become the version of us that we really want without all that baggage. And by seeing all these images and allowing this idea to sort of penetrate and come through, it's put me in a space where I want to describe in the most easiest way possible to describe how I see that we can live in our own reality. So imagine you have a next door neighbor, right? Your next door neighbor is Bob. Bob is heading towards retirement age. He's been working all his life. He's been saving up. He has a great retirement little stash tucked away. Him and his wife, Jo, are planning to go and do all these amazing holidays around the world once he retires soon. He likes to keep his emotions within, because he was taught when he grew up that, you know, men don't show their emotions. You have to keep them down. You got to keep going, keep fighting, look after your family. He also doesn't like to cause trouble. He doesn't want to go against the status quo. He's also worried about sort of what's happening out there in real life. He's worried of an impending recession with all the talk on the news. He's also worried about this whole AI situation and how it's going to take over the world, and not in a good way. So he's worried about a lot of things. Yet next door to Bob lives Sarah. Sarah is an artist and a part-time VA. She has done a lot of healing work over the last 5 years. She has spent a lot of time on herself, learning about the beliefs she was holding on to and the experiences that she had in her life. And she worked on trying to remove and release some of that trauma that she was holding on to, that anger, that sadness, so that she could really create a life that she wanted. She's now enjoying living in that house by herself, being single, working as a spiritual entrepreneur all by herself. She's also excited about this new quantum financial system, which is going to give her access to a whole range of funds based on her not being someone who had decided to get the good old vacation in her arm during the global pandemic. She just loves life. She's not worried about the future. She doesn't have any money saved up. She just knows she will be provided for. Now, Bob and Sarah live next door to each other. They both see the sun rise at the same time. They both see the sun fall at the same time. When they both stand out in their backyard and look up, they see the same thing. But which reality is correct? Which story each of them has, which one is the true story? If someone went and stood outside in their street and said, here's Bob, here's Sarah, what's the truth? Which one's true? You can't answer that question. There is no truth in that, because the only truth that is actually applicable in that situation is Bob and Sarah's. Sarah's reality is true, and it's true for her because that is the reality that she is living by, that she holds on to, that she is believing in. Bob is also holding on to his own truth. He's also believing everything he says and what he feels and what he wants to do. That's his reality. So they are both correct. They are both living in the same place, in the same street, but believing totally different things, yet still existing in this physical space that we are all existing in right now. So when I talk about creating your own reality, it's going to be based on your beliefs. And I don't think beliefs is a powerful enough word to really describe the power that it holds. We know that beliefs can come from anywhere. We know that they can come from when we were born, when we grew up, the school, our parents, our experiences over this life, from past lives, from different incarnations across the universe, from our DNA structure, from our bones, from the way we've reacted in certain situations, the choices we have made along the way, the people around us who we hang out with, who we talk to, the shows we watch, the music we listen to. There's so many areas that these beliefs can come in from that there's no way that we can pinpoint and go, oh, it's from this, this, and this. However, they are all collectively part of our whole experience, which is going to create a reality. But that experience and that reality is based on the beliefs of all those things that have happened or are happening around us. And I know many people talk about this, yet there's still such a high level of people believing in the doom and gloom of things, the opposite of the good feelings or the joyous creation that we want in our lives or the experiences that we really want to have. And it can sometimes be hard for me to, if anyone knows anything about me, you know I will flip around from conversation to conversation. I will listen to this over here, then I will listen to that over there, and I can change my mind in a second. But there's a reason for that. I always thought that was one of my downfalls, but it's because I see things differently. And the more and more I tune into my own beliefs, the more and more I really understand that my beliefs can be molded, shaped, and changed pretty easily. Now that just sounds like, oh, you don't know who you are. You're not locked in with the truth of, your divine self. You haven't released all these beliefs and shadows. You haven't whatever. Maybe, maybe not. The way I see our existence is from not a spectator. It's more of an observatory position. It's not a place where, yes, I'm right in the thick of it. Here we are, guys. Let's go do this. I always try to describe it when I talk about it. It's like I'm putting my arms out. It's like, oh, come on, my people. And it does. It feels like one of those symbolic Jesus moments or one of those images. If you were ever raised in a Catholic church, you would have seen some of those pastel images of Jesus with his arms out. And it's a similar image to that. So when I talk about not being in the light and coming through the dark and into the luminescence, it's just the way I see things, and I see it not from a point of being in it, because part of my understanding of having a belief is going to be based on what you're attaching yourself to around you. So for me, what would that mean? If I was energetically connected to, just say someone on Facebook, they started talking about something, I'm like, oh my God, yes. Oh my God, you were saying all the right things. Oh, yes, I resonate so much with what you're saying or what you're doing, what you're being, what you want to do, what you're teaching people to do, what you're showing others. And then you go down that whole connective road of finding other things that they talk about and other things that they're doing. And you get a real understanding and grasp of who that person is, what they stand for, what they believe in. It's like, yes. And even though you're on your own healing and spiritual journey and you have your own skills, you have your own knowings and understanding, you know how to use discernment, you will still start attaching attaching to the ideas of that person because you've made that connection. And I've spoken before how we connect on an energetic vibrational level depending on where we're at. And the way I like to look at it as in different shades of colors. So when we're connecting to that person, when they're saying something or showing up right in this moment when maybe you need to hear what they need to say, you get attracted to their beliefs and what they're doing. And it can be for a whole different myriad of reasons. It could be you like the success they're having, or you like the way that they're doing something, or you like the way that they look, or you like where they live. And you somehow want to embody some aspect of that person. So you are trying to understand who they are. You're trying to see what they offer, what they can offer you, and how you can use that and how you can apply that in your life to get that thing that you want that they have. I used to always think that, and this can still be the case, it's just another new awareness that is coming for me, is when these people come in, if you attach to them and you might be with them in a paid capacity or in a supportive capacity for, 1 week. It could be for 5 years, but that person is like the ignition for you to move on to something else. That is your next step. And I know for me, going through my own journey, how moving through and finding different people at different stages definitely helped me move along my journey in this particular sequence. But what if, when we're in the energy of that person, we feel like that is our next connective step, and we feel like this is the person that's going to get us to that next stage of where we want to be? What if we didn't? And depending on what your belief is and how your reality looks, you will either believe that, well, if that was meant to be, it may show up in the way of another person who is similar to that, or it may show up as that person coming back in a month or something in some other capacity where they pop up. Or it could be where an experience occurs that isn't very pleasant and you're like, oh, I should have done that thing with that person. Or is it just another distraction for you to see that you are looking outside of yourself again for the answers to whatever it is you're trying to achieve, for whatever it is that you were trying to get success with? And I know there is no way we can do the things we want to do without having any expertise. We cannot, as much as I like to think I can, we cannot learn every single thing by ourselves. Or can we? Actually, pause for thought. Okay, while I am saying those words, my body is saying that's not true, which is so interesting. So we can learn things on our own, but guess what's going to be quicker? Getting help. Like, we know we live in this age where there are so many teaching and assisting tools out there for us to learn things that it's pretty hard to not find some help in whatever it is you were trying to do. Like, you just type anything into Google or ChatGPT or YouTube, you are going to find what you want there. The difference is, though, when you do attach to someone else, it's going to allow you the chance to hear how they have learnt, how they have applied, how they have succeeded in whatever it is that they're offering. And it may not be something where you go, oh, yes, okay, I'm going to follow every single step that you did because you did this and you got that success. So that means I'm going to get that success. So I'm going to do it exactly the same. But it's not, because remember, we are all unique, energetic, coded, vibrational frequencies. We are all totally different. But listening to that person and allowing that person to show you what they've done and how they made their success is then going to allow you to take it all on board and then think, feel, see, or try and go, okay, I'm going to pull out this part and maybe I'll do this part. Ooh, I don't like that bit. And then because we're already seasoned healers and we have discernment, is that a resistance because I have a shadow or a belief that I'm holding on to? Or is it something that I just don't want to do? Or is it something that I'm not feeling aligned to do? And see, that's the part where we get stuck, is because we do have all those different thoughts. As we become more and more of ourselves, we find that we have more and more questions. We get stuck in that healing loop of thinking that every single thing that we say no to must be a shadow or a belief. And then we sometimes turn off our intuition because it's like, hang on, is that saying yes or is that saying no? Is that a shadow or should I not be doing that? Or should I be doing this now? And then we get so kerfuffled, it's like, and we end up doing nothing. So when we're in those spaces where we are connecting with other people, we are allowing them to help us, that's why we move through things quicker. That's why we can get to that next stage. And I'm sure many of you, if you've ever worked with someone, there's some people that you have worked with and it's like, yes, I need more. Or some people you've worked with and you went, ugh, nope. No thanks, that's enough. Thank you for the lesson. But then when we try to look at it all at how this creates our reality, and this is only my new thought towards it, and the way that I'm really looking at it is being in the energy of other people and listening to what they're doing and how they're doing it sometimes distracts you from the way that you should be doing it or the things that you should be doing. Because just say, for instance, you had this big download, you're fully tuned in, you were connected to your source, your genius, the truth of who you are, and you went, boom, I'm going to create this, and you just wrote down pages and pages and pages of stuff and went, yes, this is it, I've got it all planned out. And then a few days later, you start watching a live video of someone and they're saying, yada, 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 and you're like, ooh, that's a good idea. Do you wipe clean all that work that you've done a few days ago, even though it was fully channeled, it was fully brought in by your unique self? And do you jump into or start attaching to this new thing that you've heard of? Because I think our beliefs are very, very easily to be changed or attached to. Of course, it depends on the person, where you're at and what the topic is and how strong you are in your own beliefs and what your discernment levels are, etc., etc. There's a lot of different variables. But I know for myself, because I am so open to a lot of things with the way we connect and the things we see as truth for us and the beliefs that we hold on to, even though I don't believe that they are my truth right now, I know that they are still truths for other people. So I still believe in them. They're just not mine to attach to. So I'm very open when people are talking about things because I can see that. I can see how that's your reality. I can see how that process works. I can see how that system works for you. I can see how you succeeded by doing this thing. And it can be very difficult then to consistently question the things you are doing because you are so open to receiving from other people. So I think it was last year where, because I went into such a big, I need to know everything from everyone, and then it got too much, and then I withdrew, and it was more of, I don't want to hear anyone. I don't want to hear anyone else's speak. I don't want to hear anyone else's stories. Nothing. I just want to be a channel for myself and listen to my own things. And that's what I've tried to do because, and I'm sure all of you can relate to this, how many times have you created something or written a word or spoke about something, next minute everyone else is talking about it? You're like, wait, what? I thought I was being so unique, I was doing something so special, and then we could go down the whole collective energies or, the astrology, and this is what the planets are doing. There's so many ways we can look at that and see why that is a common theme or why that's a common topic for so many people around us. So that's why I really tried to stay in my own little bubble so that I knew whatever I was bringing in, whatever I was thinking about, whatever I was doing was mine. Because I do really believe that we can be sort of swayed by listening to other people and getting into their vortex of their beliefs and attaching our codes to their codes, because that's where we're at. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just an alternate way. I don't think there's ever going to be a bad way or a wrong way. It's just an alternate way. And I don't think that everyone sees that like I do, because I've seen so many people who are so firm in their beliefs that this is the way and this is the story and this is the process and this is how you have to do it. This is what you have to believe. And even though that is true for someone, it doesn't have to be everyone else's truths. And if people are speaking in a way where they're saying that it is the only one truth, then they're not the person for me. However, though, the people who are holding on to those beliefs in such a strong way, guess what their reality is going to look like? Their reality is going to look exactly like the beliefs that they are holding on to. So for someone like me who sees it quite open, it can be very difficult for the reality around me to create something if I'm constantly changing. It's like if I started thinking, the sky's blue, and then tomorrow it's the sky's red. Maybe it's green. The sky would be like, WTF? Like, make up your mind. I don't know what color to be. So it can be super hard to create the reality that you want if you aren't choosing the things that you actually want in it. And the whole roundabout eclectic conversation and why I'm talking about this is part of what I see is happening energetically for us 3D humans in this existence. And this is my beliefs and my experience. What I'm seeing right now is that our realities are going to become more and more and more and more of exactly what we think is in our reality. So where poor old Bob is thinking about an impending recession, guess what Bob's going to see? Bob's going to see an impending, or not an impending, he's going to see a recession. He'll probably end up sick with some illness from holding down his emotions. He won't be able to spend his retirement money, but because of the recession anyway, he's going to have to draw on that. He's going to lose half of his investment savings and his life's just going to turn to poo. Sarah, on the other hand, is still believing in this new quantum financial system, and she's suddenly going to have access to all this money for no other reason than her believing that it was possible. It's because we created our own realities with the thoughts we were holding on to. The only thing though is we need to hold on to them just long enough so that they can actually manifest. We're not quite at the stage where we can literally go, mansion, click, and a house turns into a mansion. We are still in that, and we're not going to talk about time space, but we're still in a delayed space where things take time. So where we are trying to manifest, where we are trying to bring things into our reality, they still take an amount of time. And obviously saying that, of course, there's things that happen instantly, but there is still a window where it needs to sort of formulate and create itself into our reality. And we also have to hold on to that, whatever it is, until it becomes our reality. I can't say I want $1 million and then tomorrow, the next day, do nothing and ever think about that, and then come back and go, hey, where's my $1 million? Like, if I'm not believing it or trying to bring it into my reality, it's going to take forever. I'm not saying that it can't, because I've already set the desire, but I haven't really been doing anything else towards it. Haven't been thinking about it, wasn't moving any steps towards it, wasn't taking action, wasn't following my intuition. And there's so many ways that we can look at this and really decide if this is our truth or not, because everything I'm saying right now, you could totally disagree with me and go, no, pick your path, choose what you want, freaking go for it. But that's the whole thing then, because if you are someone who believes in that, that's your reality, and that is true because it's true for you. And I will say that until I'm blue in your face, blue in my face, because it is literally the only thing we need to understand is our reality is created by our beliefs. And I will give you a fresh tip. Don't pretend that you're not holding on to beliefs. It's very easy for us to go around with our affirmations or our truth rants or write in our journals and say all these things, that all these amazing things can happen. Yet we are also still holding on to this little part of it inside that's not going to happen. No, you're not. Oh, you're not going to do that. So we really need to check in with that and make sure that we are being fully clear with the things we want in our reality, that we are truly 100% believing them, that we are not half-assing them, that we are not still holding on to old crap that can just let go. And now more than ever, it is the most important thing you need to do to really bring that life around you that you want. We are still just energetic, vibrational beings. We are just these particles made up of space dust that have formed into this human being. So if you don't believe anything that I'm saying, believe in science. It's literally how we were formed. And that's how everything else gets formed around us. And it's super important for us now. This is where the current energies are. This is where we're moving towards. And I think life is just really starting to change. It's really starting to change rapidly. So we need to be really firm and really secure and really sort of fine-tuning the reality we want around us. And I will give you one tip towards creating whatever it is you want. And that's in creation. Like, it sounds so simple, but being a creator, when we are creating from the essence of who we are, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if you're drawing a doodle on a page. Not a doodle, I meant like a doodle drawing. That came out totally wrong. But when you're drawing something, like even if you're doing a little drawing on a piece of paper or something, or whether you're coloring in, or I don't care, whether you're building a house, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is you're creating, keep creating. Because as you're creating, as you're moving towards things that you enjoy doing, the things that you desire, the things that you dream of, there will be things that come up. And there's things like your beliefs and shadows and stories that you go, hang on, do I want to hold on to that? Do I need to look at that? And as you do that, you will keep moving towards all these things that you really want, which in turn is obviously going to create the reality you want around you. Then you are going to be living in the most fulfilling and emotionally joyous life that you can imagine, because you created it by making it your reality.